Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox, a national journalist.
Mastodon. I will never be able to say that out loud.
It feels like the Flintstones live there.
It does.
Well, don't trust women. I think you just touched on that with your last. That's what they brought. We're going to have to bring back chaperones.
Jesus, no.
Just careful. Stop! Break! Ooh. Hard right.
How did you screw up a stove, Megan? You're a woman. I thought that was baked into you, like at the genetic level, how to operate kitchen equipment.
And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you.
You get Dino hanging out outside chewing on a large bone. I highly recommend being targeted by the New York Times and Rolling Stone for weight loss. And I'd say, keep it coming. I need to lose 20 more. Please, keep it coming.
Explain to me, Megan, why did this country not have a holiday once a year? That's the time you vote. If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. You don't get another chance. You don't get, I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake, crawl there. But that's it, 1 day, 12 hours, and then you're done. And you count them that day, and that night you know who the hell won.
I will eat you alive. You want to tangle? You want to go?
The only thing going through my head is, what are you going to do when Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother?
He made a deal with the devil. She's the devil.
He wants that.
Oh, God.
Gross! Oh! All right, penalty box for Slug. Yep.
Of a mile.
Are you ready to behave yourself now, Slug?
This frustrating rep.
Are you ready to behave yourself? Repossessed puppies? I'm hiding pork chop! ASAP! Have you seen his little pork chop? Oh my god, pork chop is the cutest.
That sounds bad.
Have you seen it?
Pork is pork!
Though you may be tempted, do not contact any person or persons mentioned on this stream. Do not even think about contacting anyone who may be the topic of the daily news. If you should do that, the host will question your IQ, possibly call you names, and mock you for disobeying these basic rules of decency.
All the best.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is a new trial stream. That's right. Today we're doing the Hernandez trial, and joining me are my special guests. We have Mo Deep End, Nick Starro, and House of Flux, and Jennifer Williams. I see you've logged back in. Jen, can you hear us okay? You are muted. Is it better now?
Yes, now. My
computer
was crazy.
Now you're roboting
Like my computer
out.
wouldn't even let me turn the mute on.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's going to work now. It seems like your Wi-Fi might be lagging. That might be the issue. But so far, it's okay. We had a little bit of a robot, but it seems to have cleared up. So, all right, everybody, we're going to start a new trial today. It is the Matt and Tuckey Hernandez case in Georgia. It is a medical kidnapping case. And it is, if you guys remember, some of you in the chat are like, didn't we do this trial already? Sort of. Yeah. It was Brady and Carrie Timms in Georgia, same set of circumstances, same players in a lot of instances, same child abuse pediatricians, etc., who took their medically fragile baby from them, accused them of horrific acts of child abuse, and then they were found innocent. They were found not guilty in a court of law. And now we have another family, Matt and Tuckey Hernandez. This is another case that has already happened. They have been, spoiler alert, they have been found not guilty, thank God. But in this case, in the last case, we had the great judge, the one who was always taking the Werther's breaks. In this case, we have a very bad judge who's going to make everyone very crazy. The bingo link is in the chat. We are going to start this with going over my article that I wrote in PJ Media so that you guys can get an idea of what happened in this case and who these people are. So let me bring that up.
If a certain someone shows up on the stand, I am prepared.
What is that? Excellent.
Do we still have to deal with long blonde hair lady? Because she creeps me out more than an Annabelle doll.
Oh, the one with the really long doll hair.
Yeah,
grassy locks. Is she in this case, Jennifer?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Good. Thank God.
Nope.
Thank God. All right, here we go. And this is the story.
I don't know that you'll love the new one any better.
Oh, no, I'm sure we won't.
Honest.
It's on the bingo card. We all hate the prosecutor. We'll see how long it takes us to check that off. Medical kidnap in Georgia, another children's hospital and child welfare embroiled in controversy. And here we have a lovely picture of the Hernandez family, baby Emma and little Aria. They're so adorable. And Jennifer Williams, by the way, was their foster mom who blew the whistle on what the state was doing to this family. And since then, Jennifer's been blacklisted from fostering children, which is really disgusting because she has fostered many, many children and helped many children in that state. It didn't take long after Maya Kowalski won $261 million in damages from Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital for another hospital to head first into the frying pan. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, or CHOA, is currently in the hot seat after taking custody of baby Emma Hernandez when her mother brought her in for a swollen leg. Only 3 months old at the time, Emma needed medical care and got a criminal investigation instead. Jeff Charles at Red State has the story. Matt and Tuckey met through an online service over a decade ago in New York City, where they began dating and later married. Matt was working as a newspaper photographer, and Tuckey was a live-in nanny from Thailand who worked for a police chief. They later moved to Georgia and decided to start a family. They have 2 daughters, a 4-year-old named Aria and a 9-month-old named Emma. Now, this was at the time that it happened. They are much older now. The situation began in June when Tuckey took Emma to the pediatrician because she noticed that she had a swollen leg. Soon after, she found herself accused of child abuse and neglect. The pediatrician examined Emma's injuries and suggested that the parents take her to CHOA for x-rays. The examination found that Emma's ribs were fractured. The doctor immediately determined that Emma was a victim of child abuse, and Tuckey was arrested on 4 counts, including child cruelty and aggravated battery. The authorities took Emma and Aria and placed them with Tuckey's sister and brother-in-law. They had Tuckey sign a document relinquishing custody to the state, but she believed she was only consenting to have her sister take care of the child after she was discharged from the hospital. About 2 weeks later, the police showed up at the Hernandez's home to arrest Tuckey. She called her sister to tell her about the arrest and briefly spoke with Aria before heading to jail. During another call from jail, Tuckey spoke with her sister and daughter for the last time. She was incarcerated for 3 days. As a condition of her bond agreement, Tuckey is not allowed to see or communicate with any of her family members, including her husband and children, who have not seen or talked to her since June. Red State also reported about 2 specialists the family hired to testify in court who found that baby Emma most likely suffers from a bone disease due to a severe vitamin D deficiency that most likely caused the injuries. The juvenile court judge ignored their testimony and sided with the hospital's child abuse pediatrician, Dr. Emmanuel Pena, who is not a bone specialist and who witnesses say did not bring evidence with him to court to prove that the injuries were from abuse. At Tuckey's first hearing, 2 medical professionals, a pathologist and a radiologist, both of whom had examined Emma's records, testified that the child showed signs of underlying issues such as metabolic bone condition or neonatal rickets, both of which could easily lead to broken bones. Matt told Red State that the medical experts pointed out that the hospital's doctors clearly didn't do anywhere near enough testing to rule out medical underlying problems based on the reports he was given. The pathologist's report noted that CHOA's diagnosis of abusive injury was made and confirmed almost immediately based solely on the radiographic findings, and that there did not appear to have been an expectation that any other laboratory studies would support any explanation other than inflicted abusive injury. I interviewed Matt Hernandez on my YouTube channel this week. The interview is heartbreaking. We learned right after that show that Forsyth County, Georgia had also indicted Matt with felony child abuse allegations. Right after the show. It was really terrible. It was awful. And you can go back and see. I have a Hernandez playlist, and that interview with Matt is there. Hopefully we can.
I remember that.
To come. Remember?
I remember that one. That was a rough one.
It was rough. We were all crying. And I mean, Matt is just the nicest guy. It just listening to his story is just horrifying. So maybe we'll play some clips of it this week too. I'll go back and look and pull some stuff. The arrest warrant was issued, and Matt and his attorney are working out the details of his surrender. The judge in the criminal case has forbidden Matt and Tuckey to communicate or live together. This has left Tuckey homeless. Lawyers PJ Media spoke to said they'd never heard of such a bond condition. There is plenty of evidence in this case to show that Forsyth County rushed to judgment and did not do basic due diligence to discover the true cause of the baby's injuries. The Hernandez's perfectly healthy 3-year-old Aria was also taken from them and is deteriorating in foster care. She used to love to dance and swim, Matt told Red State. I have a recording of her saying she doesn't want to swim or dance anymore until she comes home. Not only do medical experts believe that the hospital is mistaken, but the children's temporary foster mom has also come forward to testify for the family that the baby needs medical intervention and not protective custody from the state. Jennifer Williams, our friend on the panel today, a veteran foster parent who has served her community for 13 years, provided 5 days of respite care for the Hernandez children, and she immediately noticed that something was wrong with the baby. She wrote an email to the caseworker on August 9 telling her of her concerns. 1, I wish you had given us a heads up that Emma had a very recent fracture in her leg and ribs. My family is always careful when handling babies, but I believe having this information would have had us be extra careful with her. Can you imagine? They didn't even tell her that the baby was injured.
That is such a criminal oversight. Again, like we had in the Tim's case where they thought that there was that compression fracture really close to the spine and they didn't say anything. I mean, these are incredibly delicate babies, and you took a baby away
have
because
injury.
you thought
And how
was
about
injured.
when you're changing a diaper of a baby, you grab their ankles and you lift their legs up to wipe their bottoms and put on all the stuff. And I'm imagining, Jennifer, that finding out this baby had a leg fracture was like horrifying to you after days of, lifting her legs.
Yeah. Yes. It's completely inappropriate not to tell a foster family about an injury on a baby.
Totally. What negligence. So then Jennifer continues here saying, I found out about her recent injuries on Saturday when I shared some concerns with the foster mom that my husband and I had regarding Emma. The concerns we have are both of her arms, legs, and wrists seem to be abnormal in the joint area. Her skull also has some odd areas and shapes to it. The whites of her eyes are not white. They're bluish gray. It may not be things people tend to recognize right away, as Emma is such a beautiful and happy baby. However, we have personal experience with these issues in a baby. A few years ago, during one of my photography sessions with a new family, the parents explained to me their baby had a bone disease. She had fractures at birth, so we missed our newborn session. She came to me at almost 5 months old. That baby held herself very similar to how Emma holds herself, her joints in arms, legs, and wrists. The baby also had bluish gray in what should be the whites of her eyes. Their baby was diagnosed with osteogenesis imperfecta. It's also known as brittle bone disease. It's a genetic disorder that ranges from mild to severe. Seeing Emma reminded me so much of this baby. I told the foster mom about my concerns, and then she told me about the recent fractures. I highly suggest Emma receive genetic testing. That is how this disease and other similar bone diseases are diagnosed by a specialist, because it can affect the organs too, and it's a lifelong condition. Unexplained fractures are a huge sign, though. Plus, the skull being shaped abnormally is also associated with this disease. Hopefully, CHOA will think to do this on their own, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't and needed it to be requested from the state. Jennifer, you're such a hero.
It's
honestly.
early on. These are all common sense things, though. Is that not weird? These are just I'm just a stay-at-home mom pointing these things out that should already be done.
And I've got your letter in here attached to Twitter. Unbelievably, the state went forward with the charges of abuse even after receiving this letter. The response Williams received confused her, since the permanent foster mother had told her the county was alleging physical child abuse. Not believing that the county was going to do those tests, Williams called the Hernandez family and ended up testifying for them in court. But she says what happened there beggared belief. The judge ignored all exculpatory evidence that doctors, character witnesses, and Williams's own eyewitness experience presented, and sided with the hospital child abuse doctor Pena, who she said brought no reports, no test results, and no evidence with him to court. Worse, Williams said she overheard a de facto supervisor tell an employee that they were moving forward with the termination of parental rights. You can listen to the interview with Williams below. The Hernandez family is facing unbelievable odds. Their relatives are being denied kinship opportunities without explanation. Matt and Tuckey are facing felony child abuse charges for which they will most likely not get to trial for a full year, while their children will be held from them unless some miracle happens and the DA drops the charges. I'm calling for whistleblowers within Forsyth County DFACs to come forward. I will protect my sources. Email me with any evidence you have to exonerate the Hernandez family. This family did not deserve what the CHOA and child welfare have done to them. They deserved a basic standard of care at a hospital that has sworn to heal and not harm. At the very least, the hospital should have gone to great lengths to rule out all other possibilities before signing off on child abuse as an explanation. They did not do that. If hospitals continue to behave this way, in bad faith, and treat parents as criminals, what parent in their right mind would bring a child to the ER? That's really the problem here, is that you scare people enough and they will not seek medical care when they need to for their kids. And what are we supposed to do instead? This is an outrageous and unacceptable situation that cannot continue. Consider also this. If someone at JHatch had blown the whistle in the early days when Pinellas County, Florida, and the colluding doctors at JHatch were engaging in the same reckless behavior, Beata Kowalski might still be alive. Don't let another unspeakable tragedy befall this family if you have the means to stop it. Speak up. An entire family's liberty and lives are at stake. I have reached out to many officials in Forsyth County for comment, and will be continuing to report this story in coming weeks. So that was the first article that I wrote about it. It gives you a basic overview of what happened. But we're just going to jump right into opening statements, which have now dropped. Now, as you know, this case happened. When did it happen, Jen? When were they on trial?
It started May 12th of last year. May 12th of last year. And their babies were taken from them when? When were they? 2020.
Wait, June of
2023.
23. Their trial didn't start till 25. Holy cow.
Yes.
So the babies were kept from them all that time. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, Tuckey went 7 months without seeing the girls until the bond condition got.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. And then they got like weekly visits.
It's absolutely disgusting. All right. Is everybody ready? Do you have your bingo cards? Oh, we should probably go over the bingo card. I didn't do that. Does everybody have their bingo cards ready? All right. We have today, I basically just repurposed the Tim's bingo card because so much of this is going to be relevant. So we all hate the prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably read from down here because there's 53 of them. So we have dumpster moment, hair talk, well-timed pause, state lies, objection, didn't do nothing, Meg's blood pressure meds stopped working, court staff cries, bad hair, Megan snorts, we all hate prosecutor, river dancing, mic drop, Flux hates prosecutor, appropriate loving parents, what a bitch, judge does something annoying. We don't know this judge yet, so I just put something annoying. I know he's going to end up getting his own square. We just don't know what it is yet. Fake words, blink rate anomaly, stupid PowerPoint, the C word, squunching, sex scandal face, thug judge, Megan hates prosecutor, prosecutor stares down jury, Pacing, lazy investigator. Flux is going to get angry. Muted boomer. Demonstrative. What a bunch of garbage. They're making shit up. Megan hits the wrong button. Witch sighting. Perjury. Unknown significance. Osteogenesis imperfecta.
Yes.
Bendy babies. AI portion of the show. Flux pets cat. Flux chooses
We're already
violence.
there.
You may check off Flux pets cat immediately. Flux chooses violence. For fuck's sake, unfucking real. What if anything? Awkward pause. Annoying hand gestures. Baby stealer. Stealing cats. Prosecution gets wrecked. Facts. Wiggle wiggle itch cough, which is one of my very favorite squares we've ever had on a bingo card. And we will explain it to you when we see it. Wiggle wiggle itch cough means something very specific, and Jen will be able to describe it when it happens. And Nick demonetizes the stream. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully that will not happen. But when
no,
it does,
no guarantees.
When it does, we blame it on his accent and move on. Opening statements, day 1, Georgia versus Matt and Tuckey Hernandez.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, not her again. I hate her. All right, you may check off Megan hates prosecutor already because I already know her. I hate her. I don't know her name though. Jennifer, what's her name?
Caroline Yee.
Oh, I was going to say Michelle Kwan has gone heel. How did this happen? Oksana Bayul, you should have been nicer to her.
Megan hates prosecutor is not on my card. Darn it. But you may check it off if you have it. Also, what did we say? It was Flux Pets Cat. Okay, I've got that one.
Mm-hmm.
I have neither of those. There's nothing wrong with this.
I have both of them.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's just a lot of possibilities. So the bingo is harder. Super tips, by the way, are pinned to the top of the chat with the bingo link. Please do support the channel with super tips. We do appreciate those. And of course, super chats are always welcome as well. By the way, those of you who are That Umbrella Guy fans, just know his channel was demonetized last night, the entire channel, for absolutely ridiculous reasons. They claimed that he is an inauthentic content, which I believe means AI. So they're calling Tug AI. Those of you who are on Twitter, please bring attention to @TeamYouTube to this egregious mess. Tonight at 8 p.m., Tug will be doing a live show about it. And we're going to talk all about it, about what happened. But they have yanked his entire paycheck for the month. They have taken it. Wow. Every super chat, every membership. His memberships are gone. Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. So more on that at 8 p.m. tonight. We will definitely be talking about that. And by the way, if you are wondering what is a super tip, Rylan Poole is here to show you. Oh, it's not playing. Is it playing for you? Could you hear that?
No.
Nope.
Oh, don't tell me they're broken today because I have no idea how to fix it. Let's see. They're turned on in OBS. Do I have them in the wrong place? No, they're at the top. Oh, what is going on? Why are they not playing?
I am of no help in this matter. I need my nephew to
People
start
say
my computer.
I look like
There it
the
is.
Shroud of Turin. In reality, I look like the Germans in Raiders of the Lost Ark after they opened the Ark.
I have no idea why sometimes the AI goes crazy, but it does. Oh, I know why that one didn't play. It was one to read. Here's a super
Did
tip,
you
Megan.
already get your little duck? I missed that.
What's a duck? Yes, I just got it. I got it yesterday from the Temu birthday stream. It's the muscular duck.
I love it so much.
I
Sorry,
put it by
squirrel. Sorry.
It matches Jeff's tie. Ryland says, here's a super tip, Megan. Power to the people. Make a mockery of state actors who make a mockery of their position by abusing power and authority. That's right. That's what we do here. Amen is right. That is what we do here. And we will continue to do it until they stop doing what they're doing, until they behave. That's what we're going to do. All right, let's get to it. I promise not to stop 8 million times. Well, no, I don't. I promise.
They don't lose. But on June 6, 2023, Emma Hernandez, who was just a week shy of being 3 months, a child who can't crawl, who can't walk, can't even roll over, was found to have 3 rib fractures that were healing. On her left side, she had classic metaphyseal lesions of both of her legs. They're also called corner fractures. And she also had a healing fracture of her right foot, the first metatarsal, which is right behind the big toe. On June 6, 2023, the defendants took Emma Hernandez, their daughter, to Dr. Chunduri of Sunshine Pediatrics. An appointment had been made because Willard Hernandez had felt a soft spot to her head. Now, Dr. Chunduri thought it was a little odd because this was the Hernandez's second child. And every parent would know that all babies have a soft spot to the head at that age.
What?
So
No, you idiot. If she felt a soft spot, it's not the normal soft spot, it's another soft spot.
Yeah, I mean, because the fontanelles are soft.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, though, how dare she say all parents know? Not all parents know. I found out I'm a veteran parent. I have 3 children. I have a grown adult child. And like, I just found out as the parent of a boy that testicular torsion is something I should be concerned about and what the signs are. I didn't even know. I'd never heard of it. So how dare you say all parents should know one thing or another? What?
Yeah. Plus the mom, Tuckey, called the pediatrician because she was concerned about the soft spot on her head, because compared to her older daughter, it was different and she was worried about it.
Yeah, I don't like the characterization like, well, the mom was stupid. No, typically us moms
You will
of two,
not like this woman. Like, she is so frumpy. Do you see the face she's making right now?
Uh-huh.
That's
and
the
with the
face
arms
this woman
crossed,
makes.
look at how
Yes.
angry she looks.
She's like a
I'm not gonna lie.
hunchback.
What a
I was
bitch.
really close. Thank you. I was so close to already being like, what a bitch. But
What
it's
a
too
bi- no,
early. She
call
said
it.
5 words.
no, call
Call
it.
it.
Flex called it.
Call it. We call it what a bitch.
Calling it.
Calling it.
Bitch.
I'm like, I already hate her. I already hate her.
Yeah.
I like I said,
hate
I
her
already
body.
hate her. And she's a total bitch. Sorry, but this was awful.
And Willard Hernandez pointed out that the soft spot to the head was not on the top of the head, but to the side. She became slightly concerned. And Dr. Chunduri asked further questions. And the Hernandezes then explained that the baby has had problems with swelling to the scalp, that she's had swelling to the face. Dr.
They
Chunduri asked
never
further
said that.
questions, and the mom then mentioned.
Wait, they never said that?
No, that's not
She's just
anywhere.
making shit up. All right, you may check off making shit up on your wow, this
Wow.
bingo is gonna go fast.
Yeah,
We're going to be done for the day in like 5 minutes.
like, this woman is crazy. And Dr. Chunduri will take the stand. I don't know if she reads, you can't read from the actual records, but they were worried about a bruise on Emma's eyelid, the soft spot. And the biggest reason they bring her in is because of the right swollen leg. Like, the leg gets swollen and they bring up these things. So
But she's
she
just making
never
shit up, though.
Yes, she never had swelling of the face.
Wow.
Crazy woman.
This is unreal. We're going to be moving through this bingo card. I'm glad I picked the one with all the squares because we can go through multiple games today.
That the child has a swollen leg, that she won't move as much as her other leg. And Dr. Chunduri notices that one leg is thicker in girth than the other leg. She asks further questions about that. And Ms. Hernandez then points out that the child that she believes that the child's foot is crooked, that there's something wrong with the child's foot. And Mr. Hernandez says, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that foot. Dr. Chunduri, the state anticipates, will tell you that she did not see anything wrong with that foot at the time. And then Mr. Hernandez says, oh, by the way, she also had a bruising behind her ear last week, approximately a week ago, and received to voluntarily show a photo of bruising behind the ear. Now, for Dr. Chunduri,
because all abusers tell you about the injuries that they've inflicted on their children previously that you can't see right now. That makes all the sense in the world, man.
She is like a terrible storyteller. Like, she's really bad at her job because she doesn't remember the details of this case. So as she's talking, she actually makes the parents sound kind of good. If you heard earlier, she's like, the mom was concerned for the baby.
That's if I was a juror, that's what I've written already, is that the parents have been concerned and want help.
Look at the court reporter's face. She's not sold either. She's like, I don't know about this bitch.
Is that the same court reporter as
as the other one? As the one before?
No,
is it?
No,
she does look familiar.
She looks familiar because it's that stare.
I
could bet that at one point in time she will do a stink face.
A stink face. Court reporter stink face. Sticky widget. Remember, for 18 months. 18 months, and not coincidentally the gestation period of an African elephant. And Ryland, thanks for the 2. Foster for 13 years. Did she start on her 18th birthday? We've had this conversation. Jennifer looks amazingly young. She really does. She's only 28. So,
yeah.
Secretly, she's my age.
Yeah,
yes. she's even a grandmother. Do you even believe it? Because I don't.
I am.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Jennifer is beautiful, and you've seen the river dancing videos. She rocks that dress too. Dang, we all want to be like Jennifer. I'll tell you,
yes,
she's amazing.
Well.
Well, maybe not Nick.
That's okay, Nick. That's okay.
Well, never mind.
That's all sorts of alarms. And at that point in time, she suspects non-accidental trauma or child abuse.
Wait a minute.
And so she informed.
What set off all the alarms? I missed it.
The concerned parents, Megan.
So she just talked about the bruising behind the ear last week. Okay, and she's about to tell us what the red flags are, I guess.
Approximately a week ago, and received to voluntarily show a photo of bruising behind the ear.
Voluntarily?
Yeah.
Now, for Dr. Chunduri as a pediatrician, that sets all sorts of alarms. And
How?
His willingness to show you photos of a thing he took a picture of because he was concerned about it.
Yeah, they took the picture and it went away on its own in like 2 days. So then they just were like, okay, well, whatever that was, maybe when I was nursing her, Tuckey thought maybe her head was against, the rocking chair. Literally went away on its own. Then the swollen leg happened. And when she saw the swollen leg, Emma was in the bathtub. She had her in a little bathtub thing. And at the same time, she's like, I'm still concerned about the head. Like the doctor told me at the last appointment, no, the head's fine. But for Tuckey, she's like, this is too many problems. Like, I'm ready to go to the doctor.
This is how dare this woman be like, well, that set off all the alarms because he voluntarily showed us a picture of a bruise.
So, and
I know.
What I want to get this straight. Somebody walks in and says, my baby has this bruise. I'm scared. What happened?
Right.
Or like, what's going on? And they turn around and go, they're hurting that baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
it. Because what else do they have?
Nothing.
Do these pediatricians get a kickback from these child abuse experts? If you report a certain number of children as abuse victims, we will pay you.
Well, I actually think it's similar to what you're saying, Nick. I think what it is job, it's job protection. right?
Mhm.
If they don't have any cases of child abuse, they're not needed. Right. So they're constantly looking to justify their existence at these hospitals, to justify the paychecks that they're getting, whether those paychecks are coming through the state or they're coming through the hospital. The state also has requirements that their federal funding does not get released unless they
Right.
hit a certain number of children they take out of homes.
Yeah.
And that is a fact. So this in the way it's set up is completely wrong. You cannot incentivize the state to take more children. If you do that, you'll get more of that because they're never going to give up their money. They don't want to give up their and it doesn't always have to be evil, right? There's not like a guy sitting there going, all right, how many children can we take? It's a numbers game. And so if they don't hit this particular number of children, they're not going to get the federal funding. So then they over motivate their DFACS workers to find anything so that they don't get budget cuts next year because they already can't afford certain things, right?
Yeah.
Their staffing is already low. It's a problem. We need to somehow find a way to motivate the state to only take children that are like to focus on the very abused and not remove their funding if that number goes down, right? I don't think it should be tied to the number of children. There has to be another way to do it. I don't know what it is, but there has to be another way to do it.
Yeah.
It's driving me crazy. By the way, I guess I do have to do a hair report on Prosecutor Yee. It's not terrible. It's also not great. I don't like, if you're going to do a slick back, you should probably go all in on the gel and make sure that it's down on your head so that we don't have flyaway pieces like this one in the front that's starting to annoy me because I'm waiting for this to come undone and hang in her face. So I like the tied back ponytail. I also like that she has hair wrapped around the ponytail holder instead of like a band or a scrunchie, because scrunchies don't look good in court. Don't wear scrunchies in court. But she needs more gel.
I don't wear scrunchies at all anymore, ever, because of the last time.
we have scrunchy trauma.
Scrunchy trauma from Dr. Verena Brown. Yeah. Who remembers that?
Terrible.
Hands up in the chat if
it.
you remember the scrunchy
I'm
trauma.
in therapy trying to get that.
All right, you may now check Hair Talk off your bingo card. Oh, by the way, the court reporter's hair is pretty fly. I like it.
Time she suspects non-accidental trauma or child abuse. And so she informs the Hernandezes to go to CHOA and send Emma to be checked out. In between that time, she also alerts CHOA's emergency room and lets them know that she does not see this bruising on the child currently, but that there was a photo that was shown and that there are concerns there.
So she calls ahead and makes sure that they know there are criminals coming.
Yeah, but she didn't say to Matt and Tuckey, I think that this might be abuse. Like, she didn't say that. She just said, oh, you need to go to CHOA and let them figure out what's going on with your baby.
Well,
Dr. 420. Dr. 420 ruins scrunchies.
Yes. Like, again, what I don't understand is, how did we get to abuse? The doctor sees concerned parents.
Because of the picture, I guess.
But like, again, where is the connection? Like, concerned parents.
It's not there.
No, it's not.
I'm not getting it, but we're not in the minds of these
Flux autism is confused because there is no logical, like even in our weird nebulas of thought where things tangentially link up.
There is no link here. There is none. There's no link between showing a photo of a bruise on your baby to child abuse. There's no link. So they just made it up. Again, they've just made it up. God,
I
Flux,
hate the prosecutor. I hate her. I hate all of them.
Okay.
Like,
well, check it off your card. I hate her too. I hate her too, Flux. I hate her too. Check it off the card. Flux hates prosecutor is now checked off.
Yeah.
Let's see. What have we checked off so far? I'm gonna make sure I'm keeping up. We've got Flux hates prosecutor. They're making shit up. What a bitch. Flux pets cat. Megan hates prosecutor. Did I say what a bitch? I did. And making shit up. Yep. Okay, we're good. And hair talk, which I do not have on my card, so I have to write it down. don't have that one. Okay. All right. Back to it.
Hernandez to show up to CHOA emergency room, where the ER then asked questions of Ms. Hernandez. Why are you here today? What happened? Were there any reasons to be concerned about these injuries? Were there any falls, drops, all of which Ms. Hernandez denies. They run x-rays on the child, and that is when they observe these fractures of the child. So at that point in time, the ER is concerned and suspects non-accidental trauma and calls social work, calls law enforcement, and then they also refer to the trauma team of CHOA. And the trauma team is the department that handles all non-accidental or suspected non-accidental trauma cases. So the trauma team that runs additional tests, they also feel that this is a non-accidental trauma, and they then refer to the child abuse pediatrician. Now, child abuse pediatricians are pediatricians that are board certified in something called child abuse pediatrics. They are specifically trained to tell the difference between what is child abuse versus mimickers of child abuse.
Didn't we have that discussion last trial that there is no such certification?
Yes.
That would not work in this courtroom, but it did work in the Tims, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
there should be no such thing. It's not a medical diagnosis. Child abuse is not a medical diagnosis.
There is a
Yeah.
certification.
Ridiculous.
There is a certification. So that part is true. You
there
can
is.
be certified in this garbage practice of child abuse pediatrics. However, it's not a diagnosis and it shouldn't be used as a medical term. But this judge is not going to split the difference on that. He's just going to let it all roll together.
Catherine
What is
knows
his
that.
name? What is his name? Dickinson?
David Dickinson.
Oh, of course, his name is David Dickinson.
David Richard.
We have to put "what a dick" on the next bingo card.
Yes.
Yes.
P
So, I mean, in my brain, a child abuse pediatrician would be the same thing as, like, let's say you're walking down the street and you see a crushed can. That's like someone being able to be like, yeah, I can tell that when somebody crushed this can, they did it on accident. Nope, I can tell when somebody crushed this can, they stomped it on purpose. Bro, that is the difference. There is not, like, that's, you can't question the, like, that's not.
And they're
Yeah,
not
well,
trained to see mimics of child. They're not trained for that. These are not bone doctors. These are not hematologists. These are not endocrinologists. They have no training in any of that. None.
Oh, can't tell a story. She's J.J. Abrams now. Look at this.
Okay, JKD Buck, you didn't add lens flare, so I'm taking a half a point off.
And half a point off for no lens flare. God, I love the memes. Please keep the memes going, please. I should open up the chat on Locals, actually. Welcome to those of you on Locals and on Rumble. Those of you who belong to my Locals, meganfox.locals.com, I will start the chat going right now. If you want to put your memes in there, you put your memes in there and I can share them on the stream. Or if you are not a member of Locals, you can share your memes on my Twitter at Megan Fox Writer. And I will, if you alert me to it in the chat, I will. Oh, I can't turn the chat on after I've already started it. Dang it. Well, that's annoying in Locals. So we'll do it tomorrow on Locals. Don't worry. We'll start the chat tomorrow. You can put your memes on X for now. All right, here we go.
Visions that can look like child abuse or not. So they are specifically trained for that purpose. And Dr. Messner, who was a child abuse pediatrician in this case, he speaks with the mother, asks the social background, what sort of medical history there is. He looks at all the radiographs, any other testing that was done on this child, and he diagnoses the child with non-accidental trauma. you will hear evidence that the state anticipates the evidence will show that the rib fractures were caused by a compressive force, that the corner fractures were caused by a shearing or yanking force, that the first metatarsal fracture was caused by some sort of trauma, like a squeeze.
Oh, squunching? Was there a squunching? Squunched. She did say squeeze. I'm gonna allow it. We're gonna check off squunched.
And you will also hear testimony that the rib fractures and the classic metaphyseal lesions or the corner fractures have a high specificity for child abuse. These are fractures that you typically see in child abuse cases.
Yeah, but not all of them. They are usually specific. If you have one down there, one up there, and one in the swollen leg, and here's the thing: what I hate about me doing law for close to 35 years.
I feel seen now. Thank you, JK.
Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Now, real abusers use the same type of violence. They don't go from area to area. It's either completely all over the body, or it's specific areas like that where they can
arm
hide
twisting,
or arm twisting, where they can hide the injuries with a shirt, where they can hide the injuries with the pants,
right?
But not this random.
Yeah.
And if they take photos of it, it's for their own sick gratification, not to show the doctor.
Yeah.
Right. You're not taking photos for the doctor. Like, oh, please catch me abusing my kid.
No, and all of this would be utterly less offensive if children's services didn't have a abominable track record of trying to reunite children with monstrous parents and ending up, oh, we didn't understand that this mother was terrible. So they are uniquely awful at their job and not fit for purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
They are not.
And will look for on her own. The state expects that the evidence will also show that there were a slew of tests done on this child, from blood disorders
and how many
blood clot problems, genetic disorders, osteogenesis imperfecta. And the state expects the evidence will show that the child does not have any of these. She may have genetic variants, but she does not show any clinical signs of having any of these disorders.
She has no clinical signs.
The state expects that
even though all of these things are clinical signs.
Right.
Yeah.
She just said no clinical sign. What about the bluish whites of the eyes? We've talked about this during the Tim's case. We put pictures of my son next to Carrie's son and to look at the whites of their eyes, and you could see a huge difference. The whites of her son's eyes were bluish. So was Emma's. We showed pictures of that too. I have those. That's a clinical sign.
Well, remember, guys, for those who don't remember, when they were first taken, they were put with the aunt and uncle. Then she woke up with bruise patterns all over the bottoms of her feet and one of her legs. So they called DFACS, and DFACS said, oh, take her to CHOA. So then they take the girls from the aunt and uncle on abuse claims when it wasn't real abuse.
Yeah, they said that the aunt and uncle must have been allowing Tuckey to come by and abuse the baby at the house.
Sneak her in there.
Just to abuse her, just to whip her on the bottom of the feet with a bamboo stick or something. Like what are they even? What are they?
You know, I'm pretty sure it was actually Captain Hook that swooped in the middle of the night. They have about the same evidence.
Yep,
true.
Exactly the same evidence. Exactly.
Hey, at least we can all be comforted that the prosecutor's mother is still deeply disappointed that she wasn't a doctor. So every night she goes home and her mother is disappointed. She's like, only a lawyer.
Or a figure skater.
Here that the child did have low vitamin D levels. But you will also hear that It was not so low to the point that it was affecting.
They always say this. Well, the baby did have low vitamin D, but it wasn't low enough. You know what I just learned, by the way? That most doctors are not following the new recommendations for vitamin D. My child's neurologist has a much higher number in mind for what's a normal vitamin D level than her pediatrician. So the last time I saw the pediatrician and he said her vitamin D levels were fine. I said, what are they? He tells me, and I said, that's not what the neurologist says. Neuro says they should be 30 or higher. Pediatrics is saying in the 20s is normal.
They don't care though, Megan. I sat in a trial 3 weeks ago, an hour from my house in Hall County, Georgia, and listened to Verena Brown. We all know her, which was really fun to sit in that courtroom and have her notice my face in that courtroom. That child had, it was priceless. My kids were there, and one of my daughters was like, I stared at her the whole time and I never looked away. I was like, good job, girl.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because that baby's vitamin D was a 12. A 12. And she said, that's not really a big deal because at 5 weeks, the baby's still getting the vitamin D from his mother. And it's like, lady, at what point do you stop by your own standards? The hospital CHOA says 29 and below is deficient. So they just say this crap just to fit their narrative.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. For those of you who are not familiar with Verena Brown or Verena, I think we found out it was Verena, but now I've said Verena so many times that I can't say it any other way. This is her Instagram. Sentient Anatomy. And I did not slow this down. I did.
Oink, oink.
We're gonna have to put oink on the the
God,
new
don't stare at
bingo.
me with your Manson lamps.
Oh my God, put your clothes on, Verena. This is a child abuse pediatrician that was involved in these cases. And we're not fans. Let's just put it that way. We're not fans of Dr. Verena, although she is a big fan of herself. I don't know if you guys have noticed,
Did
but
she
she
find
loves
like
herself.
a gauze panel and someone with brave enough to take a picture of her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Her bones. That the radiographs show no abnormality with regards to her bone health, other than the fractures itself.
Duh.
Wait a minute.
Other
No
than that, the play was
abnormalities.
great, Mr. Lincoln.
The bone
So-
fractures, which
it was low, but not that low. And it's no signs except these signs.
that sign.
And no bone deficiency except she breaks her bones very easily. At what point do you listen to yourself, lady?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. Because this really sounds ridiculous. And she does look like she's getting a little lost here because now she's going to the notes. Is the judge asleep? What's happening back there? He looks like he's checked out. Yeah. His eyes are getting very heavy.
You will also hear that
You're getting very sleepy.
the child was then removed from the parents and was placed initially in the custody of Miss Hernandez's sister's home. And on July 10, Emma Hernandez again shows up to CHOA because there are new bruises on the child's leg and foot and feet. And you will hear testimony from
Look how serious and sad she's trying to appear. Watch this.
another foot and feet. And you will hear testimony
Deep sigh.
from another child abuse pediatrician that they have again run tests, observed the markings on her leg and feet, observed the bruises, and they determined that there is yet again new child abuse. And so the children are removed from the aunt and uncle's home and are moved to a completely unrelated person's home. or thereafter there were no further issues with abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, in presenting the case, the state will try to keep this in chronological order. Unfortunately, with there being so many doctors and scheduling issues, it's not going to be in the same order of events. So I would ask that you keep in mind that any June incidents are in reference to the initial call or initial child abuse, that any July incidents are going to be after the child was placed in the aunt and uncle's home. And then after that is with other non-family foster care.
Are they really going to make the argument that she was being abused with the aunt and uncle? Because I'm here for it if that's what she's going to do.
That's what she was just, that's what I got from that.
And
is that what's coming, Jennifer?
Because then she said when she's in, when she goes to a foster home, did you hear her say no more abuse happens?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what she doesn't tell everybody is how much throwing up that baby did in multiple foster homes. Like how bad her
What about the
digestive system
bruising
really
at the
was.
daycare? What about the bruising on the legs? Wasn't there a daycare incident?
Guess what, Megan? The daycare director is going to testify in this trial. And she is like the sweetest, most naive thing, has no idea what's really going on in this courtroom, but she testifies beautifully. You know what I mean? Like she's never testified before. She's just telling the truth. And it's good.
Oh, I'm so happy we have this footage. I can't even tell you.
I know. Thank you, Jeb.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defendants have been charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the first, for the fractures caused to Emma's ribs, legs, and foot. At the end of this trial, the state will have another opportunity to come before you, and at that time, I will ask that you hold these defendants accountable for their actions and find them guilty of all of the charges. For the fractures caused to a child who can't walk, who can't crawl, who can't roll over, who can't create enough force to cause these fractures to herself. Where these defendants were the sole caregiver for this child, where no one else was responsible for taking care of this child, and where neither defendants were able to provide a reason or an accident for how these fractures occurred. At the close of this trial, I'll ask that you find the defendants guilty of all charges.
Do you find her oddly mechanical for being outraged about a child being...
Catherine, hold on. What did you say?
I find her lack of affect, again, it sounds like she doesn't even believe her own story.
She doesn't believe it.
No, because let's be real. If I were a prosecutor, as a mom, I don't think I could keep the passion out of my voice if I truly, legitimately believed that these 2 people had harmed that baby. I would say, these 2 people, I will show you. Now, they're going to bring up that there was this or that. I will show you that we turned over everything.
She has no emotion.
But these doctors...
Yeah, she has no emotion until she gets irritated. She throws a pen at least once. Like, those are her emotions is like just ticked when she doesn't get her way. But she's so mechanical.
Here's the thing. If that's it, that's her entire opening statement, and I'm on the jury, I'm already like, oh my God, they've got nothing. Because normally a good opening statement with the prosecution starts with, this person did this abuse, and we found A, B, C, and the reason they did it was because of this, and we've got it all.
Yeah, she does a terrible job. Like that was terrible.
It. That was her entire opening. I feel like I missed. I was texting my kid. I feel like I missed how that ended.
And yet it took us an hour to get here.
I know. for 10 minutes. This is her last
Close
sentence?
this trial, I'll ask that you find the defendants guilty of all charges.
She never even mentioned what mom or dad did.
No.
That's what all she said was that there was a compression fracture and like it was a compression injury and a yanking injury, but that's all she said. I have it in my notes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They did less testing than Judson Belcher and Dutch Boy Blue. So I'm sorry, but they are not oh gosh.
The testing that was done that actually got answers was done by the parents. So it's true. What TOA found, the 2 gene codes that they ran, the same ones they ran on Jamison Timms that actually came back with abnormalities that they ignored. When they ran those 2 with Emma, they did not come back with abnormalities, but a lot of her blood work was off, like iron deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, D dimer was super elevated, like 4 times the amount it's supposed to be. So there were things, but they were just don't find them important.
The buffed old man, thanks for the 5. Megan, you have a good panel laying it out for us today. Thanks to you all. Well, thanks for being here. Those of you in the chat, very happy to see you. There's 272 of you here on YouTube, and there's a handful over on Rumble as well. Hello, Rumble. How you doing? Slidey Pie over there says terrible opening statement. I agree. Terrible.
I mean, like their body language was not great. The fact that she didn't use a PowerPoint, that was good.
That was good.
She had less than 10 ums in her entire statement. Which
were you doing an counter? Good for you.
I do counters because I'm terrible with ums. I try to fill all the silence, and I'm trying to learn to not do that. But I'm very big on ums, and she only had 6 ums. So, and it was mostly when she got lost and she went back to her paper. So she did good there. But yeah, no, very lackluster. Very.
Also, I didn't see any jury connection. I didn't see any attempt to really to connect with the jury. And in fact, her body language was so closed off. She spent most of the time with her arms crossed. Yeah. I don't know if it's cold in the courtroom, but it comes off as just being completely closed off and uninterested
she's just
in
not
a conversation.
into it. Like she's just not into this. Like she's just like
she doesn't seem like she's interested. No.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Well, she has this I promise I have boobs under here type of
right.
That's the move I do. Hey, don't knock it.
Dan Davis, thanks for the 5. Not to change the subject, but Mo did a story on Legos, and we all want to know if you got a box of pasta instead of Legos. We all want to know. What?
Okay, so I did this. There was this thief who managed to steal almost $40,000 worth of Legos in 1 year in California. So what he would do is he would buy the Lego kit. He would take it home, take all the stuff out, then put bags of pasta in. So and then return it back to Target. And part of me is like, this is a terrible idea. How do I do this?
How do I figure it out?
Because look, I want the Rivendell Lego set, and Mr. Mo says spending more than my first car amount on a Lego set is wrong, even if it does, support modern mythos.
Can you even believe how much some of these sets are? I just got one for my birthday. I have not put it together yet. It's sunflowers. I'm excited about that. But I mean, it's amazing how much money these suckers cost. And they really can get up there.
The most I ever spent on a Lego set was for Mrs. Flux as like a honeymoon gift. And it was the Lego Death Star. And it was, I mean, at the time it was $500. I think now it's probably closer to $1,000.
It's $1,000.
Oh, apparently it was
Don't
$400.
ask me how I know.
See?
The most I've ever spent on a Lego set is like $30.
That's the most you've ever spent?
It was
wow.
It was like
you don't have a problem like the rest of us.
Yeah.
My favorite ones are the 3-in-1s that I can take down and build again and take down and build again. And like this one is one of those. And I still haven't done all of the iterations of it. It's a microphone, but it's so cute. Cool. I like the microphone that I haven't taken it apart yet. I have one that I'm still working on. It's a headless bird at the moment. I haven't finished putting the head or the other wing on it. This is as far as I've gotten. But this one was
so Mr. Jingles has been there too. He loves taking the heads out of birds.
Oh no, now I've touched it. I've touched it and things are falling apart.
I haven't heard bird song in my yard for 10 years.
Why?
Mr. Jingles!
What, Mr. Jingles, of course.
Oh man.
All right, let's see. Okay, now we get to watch the defense's opening statement, which I have a feeling is going to be much, much better. We have Catherine Bernard.
Catherine.
We love Catherine. She is amazing. I follow her on Facebook now, and I really do need to invite her onto the stream. We didn't get to hook up with her on the Tims, even though she was willing. That was my fault. I dropped the ball. But luckily, we have another chance to get her on to talk about both of the cases. I'm sure that she will. I just need to reach out. I know she's very busy, but here's Catherine Bernard. She is amazing. You're going to love her.
Thank you again for your service. And now we have come to the point of the 2 weeks that we warned you about.
She's already talking to the jury.
Yes.
Like,
open.
I never heard one thing that prosecutor did or said that seemed addressed to the jury. Look at the judge's face. He sure woke up fast, didn't he?
He does not like Catherine. Like he does not like her.
I can tell. He's got squinty eyes all of a sudden. Is there a objection? Wait, I'm not, don't tell me, but I have a feeling that there might be an objection during this opening statement, but we'll see. It's on the bingo card just in case.
These 2 incredibly important weeks for my client, Matt Hernandez, and for his wife, Willarot Hernandez, who goes by Tuckey. And the first thing you need to know that, of course, these opening statements, nothing the lawyers say is evidence, but we are allowed to tell you what we expect the evidence to show and give you a little background on what's going to come before you. But the first thing you need to know is that both Matt and Tuckey Hernandez are completely innocent of the charges against them. They did not abuse their daughter. They did not allow anyone else to abuse their daughter. They did not make up any excuses of stories for how things could have happened. Instead, the reality is that Emma Hernandez is a medically fragile child that from birth, there were indications of her medical fragility, unfortunately, many of which went ignored by the medical establishment and not advised of her parents, so they didn't have all of the information. So when the nightmare began for them on June 6, 2023, after they brought their younger daughter in for what they thought would be a routine, let's check in what's going on. Instead, it set into motion acts that would see both of their daughters taken away from them for the entire 2 years to this date. So we'll have time to go into a lot of the detail and you will see the things that are incorrect about the narrative that was just presented to you by the state. But we can start off by just
state lies. Let's have that checked off.
State lies.
State lies. Thank you for pointing that out, Catherine.
She is such a good speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a much better storyteller right off the bat.
Right. Well, she gets intrinsically that she's talking to. These are the people that are going to be deciding your client's fate. You have to talk to them, not at them. You have to.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, state lies may be checked off your bingo cards, folks.
Matt and Tuckey Hernandez. I told you in jury selection, they're not from here. Tuckey is originally from Thailand. Matt is from New York, and they met in 2011 when they were both living in New York. Tuckey had studied law, actually, in Thailand, had then gotten into the hospitality industry, and had come over to the United States working as an au pair. Matt was doing photography and working at a supermarket. They met and fell in love and got married barely a year after they had met. They lived happily together in New York until they realized life in the city wasn't what they wanted to do for the rest of their lives, and they moved down here to Forsyth County, Georgia, nearby to where Tuckey's sister, Panyara Schultz, and her husband, Tony, reside in Gwinnett County. They chose Forsyth County for all the same reasons that many of you have no doubt chosen Forsyth County. It's a great place, great schools, that they wanted to make sure to have a place to raise their family in. And indeed, they had their first daughter in 2020. She was a COVID baby. Their first daughter's name is Aria, a happy, healthy child. No problems whatsoever. They took her to all of her well baby visits. They did all the normal things that excited and happy new parents do with their young children. And they really focused their love and attention on Aria. Tuckey was working and doing restaurant work down here, and Matt continued with some of the photography, but he's also a musician. And so he began playing music as well as working at the Guitar Center here. And as is often the case when they've added the love to their family and find themselves with enough love to share, they had another daughter, Emma Hernandez. Emma was born on March 13th of 2023. And unfortunately, she wasn't quite as healthy as Aria. And part of it started in the pregnancy. Tuckey was 38 when she was carrying Emma Hernandez, her younger daughter, which is considered advanced age for a pregnancy. And she also had problems with anemia during this time. These are problems that popped up on her charts, but that she wasn't advised of during her regular medical care. However, she had a relatively uncomplicated birth. She did have a fall late in her pregnancy, but overall, when Emma was born, there was nothing immediately apparent until the genetic testing came back. And that's when they immediately found a genetic mutation on Emma. And even when Aria was coming to visit her new baby sister at the hospital, the doctors noticed discoloration on Emma. It's called acrocyanosis, and it's a condition where you have what are called hematological events, where there is unusual coloration or flushing of the skin. It can sometimes have to do with temperature, and it is often noticed on extremities. And so in fact, even in early photographs of Emma and her older sister together, you can see that Emma's arm is almost the color of her sister's purple shirt. But again, newborns sometimes have a little odd color to them, and she seemed like a happy girl. So they continued to do their appropriate well baby visits and hadn't been advised of the acrocyanosis diagnosis that was received early on in Emma's life. But they continued to take her to her medical appointments, and it was discovered that she was the carrier for a genetic mutation related to cystic fibrosis, a pulmonary disease. She was a carrier of one of the genetic mutations. And so that immediately triggered some further testing. And it turns out that Emma did not have cystic fibrosis, but this genetic variant was the harbinger of what was to come, because further genetic testing has revealed that Emma Hernandez is the carrier of at least 4 genetic variants, at least 2 of which are known to be pathogenic. And now this is one reason I asked y'all about genetic testing and genetic variants during jury selection, because you're going to be hearing a lot about it. And there will be some dispute with some of the experts that the state brings before you, because it turns out that once the state takes someone's baby away, all of the state's doctors tend to agree, oh, nothing wrong with that baby. The baby was being abused by the parents. That's the easy solution. That's the solution that makes all of those medical professionals look good. But it's not the true answer. The true answer is that there are genetic mutations and variants, and the evidence will come before you to show this, that Emma Hernandez has. Some of them are on collagen-producing genes. The genes responsible for producing collagen, which is part of our connective tissue in our bodies, and also, crucially, part of our bones. So that's another thing you'll be hearing about. These radiographic scans and x-rays can't always capture bone density issues because the evidence is going to show that it's sort of like a chicken bone versus chalk. Chalk has denser minerals in it, but it's more brittle than the chicken bone because the chicken bone has collagen in it. And so the evidence is going to show that these variants
great analogy
and mutations that occur on collagen-producing genes in Emma Hernandez are very likely responsible for the very minor fractures that were seen when she was x-rayed at CHOA.
Yeah, she is very good at breaking down complicated things on a layperson level. Because so far, I'm not zoning out. You know, they put doctors on the stand and you're like,
Yep.
too much medical ease. Like, I don't understand. And she's doing an incredible job explaining. Check out this meme. This is so funny.
I love that.
Look at the court reporter's stink face.
Oh gosh.
So good. The prosecutor is phoning it in.
I love that she's done her research because you can tell when people have done their research and are comfortable with the terms and then can translate them into easy to understand. It's very much why I liked Alessi when he would go on with the medical experts. He had a comfort with the terms, and so you knew that he understood. And I just very much like that she has done the research so she's comfortable with it, because a lot of lawyers will take cases and then you can tell they've done maybe like a Cliff Notes or something, but they're really not they're really not prepared for their experts. So I very much appreciate that, you know, she has Thor, thank you.
I have to tell you guys, because I just thought of it, that speaking of experts and good ones versus bad ones, that Dr. Indiana Bones will be making an appearance in this trial.
Oh.
Yes. Dr. Indiana Bones is back, you guys.
Yes.
He's back. Yes. And he will be starring in the Temple of the Cahunt Part 2. Apparently.
They returned like the clap.
And you may now check off the C word because I did just drop it. There we go. The C word has been said. I can't wait for Dr. Indiana Bones. He's like one of my favorite
Thor would
people
like to request
ever.
Thor
what?
would like to request Mo pets cat or Thor turns off the microphone.
Okay. I think we may go with Thor turns off the microphone.
Thor, I've talked to you. The printer doesn't love you like that. We've had HR. Stop.
I am going to take this opportunity to dip. I have a doctor's appointment in a little bit, but I will be
We
back
will miss
with you
you.
guys.
Yeah.
I'll keep this on and listen to it, and I'll be back with you guys
and make-
tomorrow.
And make sure
Excellent.
there's no abuse challenges against Mrs. Flux.
Yes, make sure.
I don't know.
Make sure
I've had a busy past few days. I was working on my truck and I did yard work, so I have bruises.
Oh,
So I don't know what they're
boy.
gonna say.
Oh
I don't know
no.
what they're gonna say. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Be excellent to each other. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Always good to see Flux.
So, going back to what the evidence shows about these early months of Emma Hernandez's life. Emma continued to be taken to the doctor regularly by her parents for all of her checkups. There's what you might expect. We would think that the evidence would show that if somebody were abusing their child, they wouldn't be taking them in regularly to the doctor. They wouldn't be seeking out medical care on the normal basis. But no, Emma was getting all of her vaccinations, all of her well baby visits. But it's true, they did notice that something didn't feel right about her head. And so when her older sister, Arya, already had an appointment scheduled for June 2023, they had called Dr. Chanduri and said, yes, we're concerned about Emma as well, so we're going to bring her along to the appointment. And so Dr. Chanduri examined her as well. And Dr. Chanduri, when she recognized that there was the potential for something going on with Emma's right leg, she did make the referral. As a mandated reporter, people can be over-inclusive because you can get in a lot of trouble for missing something when you have a suspicion that you don't report. But Dr. Chanduri was careful to tell all of the people that she spoke to that she had been working with this family for years. She had known them as they cared for their daughter, Arya, and she had never, ever had any suspicion of non-accidental trauma whatsoever. So Dr. Chanduri knew that this was a good family, not someone who was likely to be abusing their child. So I'm sure she felt totally safe making the referral over to Children's Hospital of Atlanta, because what's the harm in having the baby checked out, right? Well, unfortunately, this case will show you what that harm was. Because when little Emma Hernandez, little 3-month-old Emma Hernandez, was taken to the hospital voluntarily by her parents, they were told at the emergency room that only one parent could come in with her. So that's the reason that Tuckey Hernandez was the one with her and not Matt as well. He was actually not allowed to come into the hospital with his own baby. And they immediately began trying to figure out what was going on. And this is where you're going to see two different paths. You're going to see the path of doctors like Dr. Nwakabu and Dr. Wolzeski. We're probably going to name those names. But they were the doctors who first saw Emma when she got to the hospital. And you'll notice it's all right there in the medical records. She is a well-appearing baby. The state would have you believe that this is some horribly mangled and broken and injured child. But that's not what the medical records show. The medical records show that this was a generally well-appearing baby, happy, not in pain, not responding negatively to any palpation, that she was a normal, happy baby whose parents were volunteering any information that would be helpful to the healthcare professionals in helping them figure out what was going on. Many folks in here are parents, and I think all humans can understand the desire that when you have a helpless 3-month-old infant, you want to figure out what's going on and make sure that they're getting the care and treatment that they need. And that's what Dr. Nwakabu was doing. She was a little concerned about the metaphyseal, I've been practicing that word, the metaphyseal lesions, because when you hear fracture, you think displacement, you think bones broken into multiple pieces. But you'll see the x-rays, ladies and gentlemen. The evidence is going to show it wasn't anything close to that. What you will see in the evidence are that there are tiny healing fractures on the left side of Emma Hernandez's ribs that are very likely birth related. That is how the healing stage shows, because apparently the forces involved in a normal vaginal birth are enormous. They are enormously compressive. And so when you have a child who has any amount of medical fragility, any little variant on a collagen-producing gene that could affect the health of their connective tissues and their bones, you might get these tiny little fractures. These are not the kind of things that you would see if someone was abusing a baby. If someone was abusing a baby, you would see.
Much like Laura Owens,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
If the down there is very tight or the contractions are very strong. Yeah, I think I'm not putting it on the screen, but God.
Thor, between Nick and you.
Thor keeps showing us his ass. All right. I'm adding
So
a
everybody
Thor.
send Mo cat ass jewelry.
Thor
Oh my God,
OnlyFans
I'm surprised I
moment.
haven't made my own. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm not always as high as Verna Brown, even though some of my ideas may indicate so. I think
Ice
my idea is
fractures.
sober.
You would see serious injuries. You would see hemorrhages and evidence in the scalp and skull. But they did those tests and they showed no hemorrhage, no evidence. Even Dr. Messner puts that in his reports, that there's none of the classic symptoms of non-accidental trauma there. But so you're going to see those two paths diverge in the medical records from Shoah. The records from Dr. Nwakabu, who referred Emma Hernandez to the ortho team, the orthopedic team, and then Dr. Olszewski, who met with the family, who checked out Emma, who recognized, she wasn't in pain, but she did have these classic metaphyseal lesions or bucket handles that, again, they're not the result of somebody attacking a child. They are the result of fragility in her bones and connective tissue. And so that's what Dr. Olszewski had put in the notes. Let's get her on a vitamin D supplement because, yes, she had a vitamin D deficiency. Another one of those key hormones that has a role in the health of our bones and connective tissue. She had a vitamin D deficiency. So they put her on they were ordered to put her on some vitamin D supplements and bring her back in a week. So you've got this path with these doctors.
Yes, BMMRLM, YouTube just emailed you that the membership for Tug has been paused. That is correct. YouTube has demonetized his entire channel, has taken his revenue for this month, and has canceled all his memberships. Obviously, he has his MCN working on it. He will be streaming about it tonight at 8 p.m. It is obviously a mistake. YouTube has made a horrible AI mistake, but he's working on it. He's aware. So please do tune in tonight at 8 p.m. on Tug's channel. He will be going live and he's going to need a whole lot of support tonight because, that is his job. His job is YouTube. He is not on any other platform. This is how he makes money for his family. He is also a single dad raising 2 kids.
Yeah,
and
he's also not a bot.
He's not a bot. He got flagged. He got demonetized for inauthentic content, which we know is not true because he makes new content every single day, every day. And so if you are on Twitter, please do go over to @thatumbrellaguy and retweet and tag @TeamYouTube in his tweet that he has put out there. Please do tag them. Don't just retweet it. Tag @TeamYouTube so that they can see that a bunch of people are pissed off about it, because that seems to me the only way to get their attention to actually look into these things with a human being. So yeah, it's pretty terrible. He left the stream last night early because it happened and he got obviously upset. So we will be talking about that tonight at 8. They've done it to so many people. They have done it to so many creators that they're all responding to Tug's thread right now. All a bunch of big creators that this has happened to. Jim Tells You says it's not a mistake. YouTube changed the partner program to exclude anyone who reads news articles on their show, and they hit me on Sunday. Well, that they didn't put that in their terms of service. So if it is now against the rules to read news articles or read court documents on stream, they need to say that. But I don't think that that's what it is. They've hit him for inauthentic content, which indicates that they don't believe he's a real creator. They don't believe he's a real person. I am not demonetized yet. Nothing has happened to my channel as of yet. I do believe that
I will do my best.
I do believe that the constant false flagging that Tug and I have both had against our channels in the last 2 years while we've been covering the Hales case. I do believe that the constant false flagging campaigns by idiots who have these channels where all they do is go after Jeremy Hales, and they have been trying to take our channels down including a couple of very bad lawyers and ex-lawyers who are trying to take her channels down. I absolutely think that has something to do with it. But getting YouTube to tell you, very difficult. So yeah, tune in tonight at 8 on That Umbrella Guy.
But then the child abuse pediatrician comes in. And as you might guess from the name, child abuse pediatricians very often find child abuse. And you'll hear from Dr. Messner himself, and you'll hear about this history he allegedly collected from Ms. Hernandez, a woman who is alone with her infant daughter, who is trying to keep up with everything that's going on. She speaks English quite well and understands it quite well. She does have the assistance of a translator for some of the medical and legal stuff, but it's a stressful situation. But even under that stressful situation, there was nothing in the interview that Dr. Messner said, gosh, that is a sign that she was abusing her child. What they said was a sign that she was abusing her child is that she didn't come up with some story to say, oh, she fell off a bed. Oh, this happened to her. Because she was honest, they say that's evidence of non-accidental trauma. And so once the child abuse pediatricians become involved.
What did you say, Nick?
It's my accent again. That Dr. Messner, what a bunt.
Yes, Dr. Messner is the worst. Do you guys remember him? God, Messner was the one who we believe has a scandalous nighttime activities going on. But I don't know what I did with my drawing. I wish I could pull it up, but I don't have it on me at the moment. Remember that Messner was the very
leather
flamboyant
daddy.
Leather daddy, the very flamboyant leather daddy. Yes.
He was a power bottom, though. I think we all agreed he wasn't a top.
We did agree that yes, that was probably the case.
And just so you know, the C word is gender neutral.
This is true. You can use it for either sex. Yeah.
And actually make a report of we are diagnosing her with non-accidental trauma, something they did even before all of the test results came back. And these test results included information like normal lipase levels. Lipase levels are elevated when there's an instance of trauma. Things like wildly elevated D-dimer levels and other indicators of genetic variants and connective tissue disorders. These are the kind of things that the doctors should have been investigating to figure out what was going on with Emma. But once Dr. Messner slapped that non-accidental trauma tag on there, that was the only way they went. They seized the baby from the parents immediately. And it's true, at first they did put her at least into the care of the aunt and uncle. But it's true, they brought her to the doctor when they had symptoms that they were concerned about. And in fact, those did not go away after Emma was taken out of the care of the Schultzes. They did not go away. They kept happening. And even one of the foster parents who was offering respite care was so concerned about what she saw on Emma Hernandez that she actually tried to contact the foster care system and say, I'm worried about this. And what happened to her? They took her off the list for someone who could provide respite care. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the things the evidence will show is so troubling about this case, that the parallel track of the DFACS case, where they have already seized both Emma and Arya from their loving parents, taken them away and bouncing them around to different homes. This is all going on while Tuckey Hernandez gets charged on June 22nd with aggravated battery and cruelty to children. But they didn't charge Matt Hernandez, but they wouldn't let Tuckey or Matt.
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh, I knew it! I knew there was going to be an objection during this. I knew it. You may check off objection in your bingo card. I put it there specifically for opening statements because I knew it. I knew that this bitch was going to do this.
And it's going, from this point on, it's going to get so wild because this is when the prosecutor decides she doesn't want to hear anything about the DFACS case, which is friggin' insane because it's so important. It's like, it is the whole case.
Look at Catherine's face. Look at
Catherine's
her
like, are you
face. She's
serious?
like, yes, bitch. What do you want? Like, what is happening? What now? What's your problem? Oh my God. Are they going to try and pull the shit they did in the Maya Kowalski case where, you weren't allowed to talk about what DFACS
Megan,
did?
it's going to be so bad. Like most of the defense witnesses, the jury has to leave the room while they do a proffer. And all the good information comes out during that time. And then the judge is like, yeah, you're not going to talk about that. Bring the jury back in. They can't talk about Emma and Arya loving their parents. They can't talk about they don't want to hear that. Because remember, this judge says the well-being of children is not priority in his courtroom.
Oh my God, he
Okay,
said that?
but
yes.
And Jennifer, can I just say thank you on behalf of all of us? Because I know what this cost you. I mean, as a person who loves to nurture, and I am sure that, your heart breaks with all the kids that you can't help now. And I just so appreciate, and from one mom to another, thanks for being brave enough to stand up against the system and make a stand. And I know we have done something for the Tims. Is there anything we need to do to help the Hernandez family?
Yeah. So yes. And I should have put this up in the description, and I will go and do it now. But there is a fundraiser going on at You Are the Power for April, where they are raising. The goal is to raise $12,000, I do believe, for all the families, and they're going to be splitting the money between the families for different costs and expenses, like legal expenses, etc. And on my birthday the other night, we helped them raise around $1,500, and Ryan had to shave his head and get in a river and do river dancing, which I have the video, but he didn't edit it. So I want to edit it and put it to music and make it great so everybody can see it. And he's not here anyway, so we'll wait till he can be here.
Yeah, we want him to enjoy it.
Yeah, we want him to be able to enjoy it. So you know what, Jen, can you send me that link again? Because it's lost somewhere in my...
Yeah, I will. And I don't know how you want to do this, if you want to use You Are the Powers link specifically during the month of April. And Jonathan and I, because the family is traveling overseas right now, we're going to get a fundraising page that Jonathan and I are going to oversee. And with Matt and Tuckey's permission, we have it set up to pay the attorneys off. We know how much each attorney
wonderful.
Wonderful,
is
wonderful.
owed. And because they're traveling back and forth, it's going to be a lot easier if we handle that fundraising page. So I'm going to create that and I'll get it to you. Because we're going to pay off.
Are you overseas? Are you in my part of the world?
They are traveling back and forth to Thailand right now.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad they get to see her family.
Not the Atlantic, they are Pacific. Okay.
Yes, they must be visiting family. Which is great, because after all of this trauma, they certainly deserve some downtime. So yeah, I would love it for you to get me that link. But for right now, we can use the one, the You Are the Power link for April for their drive. So if you would send me that, I would appreciate it. And then chat, I will put it in the description of the video for you, and I will drop it in the chat as well. All right, let us continue. I can't wait to hear what this objection is about.
The charging decision is completely.
Oh, look at Catherine!
He doesn't get to go into what the officer.
Look at this!
He doesn't have a decision.
I love that her neck is all capital and bold like my face.
But the charging decision is part of the case.
Yes.
I thought.
That's Catherine, I love you.
That's the foundation of the entire case, is the charging document and the charging decision.
Yeah.
Without that, there's no case.
Oh my God, this face.
The
Catherine.
charging decision is completely up to the state. He doesn't get to go into what the officer's charged.
And she just gave the jury the best look. She was like...
That is excellent, because what she's showing is, why are you trying to hide this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it shows how completely out of left field, because you've noticed she's been very guarded with her face. I mean, essentially what she's showing, it's like when Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. She's basically going like, this is really, really wrong.
Legitimately shocked, I think. She's kind of like, that wasn't even for the jury. That's for her.
And she did turn her back to the prosecutor pretty quickly there. Like that, it was like, what? And then like, yeah, I'm not listening to you. That was an incredible face. But look at this. She doesn't get to go into what the officer charged. This is a criminal trial.
I mean, you're going to
what
put them in
does
prison.
She mean? Yeah, you're going to put that. You get to go into every charge. Is she insane? You're going to tell me the judge will sustain this?
I don't even remember, Megan, what this man does. He's crazy.
All right, I guess we have to find out.
That's impossible. I have never heard a prosecutor say that the state's charging decisions are irrelevant to a consideration of a criminal case against the people charged.
Damn straight.
I frankly am not sure how to respond to that.
We're going to stick to what the indictment says and not go behind any type of
what
you think of that next.
We are going to stick to what the indictment says and not go into what's behind the warrants. Why?
Why?
This is where it starts. It gets so crazy. It's ridiculous.
You're objecting to the charges? You're objecting to your own charges? What the actual fuck? Okay, I believe that the bingo card has a what the actual fuck on it or something.
Also, transparency in what you're charged is one of the foundational bases of a fair judicial system. We were created. Our nascent, birth of this nation's justice system was because you couldn't be called into a court without knowing what charges were against you. The state couldn't come in and fix it.
It makes no sense. The jury's supposed to just find them guilty and on what charges?
We need to know the charges. We need to know see the charging documents. And by the way, the square I was looking for is unfucking real. Yeah. Please check off unfucking real if you have it on your bingo card, which I don't, and I'm really angry about it. Yeah, wow.
But because this decision by the judge would also mean that the state can't go into it.
Yes.
Now, this is opening statement, so it is kind of different rules during opening statements. But still, opening statements, it's what they expect to happen during the trial. And I can bet that the charges will be brought up somewhere in this trial when the officer is there to testify.
Right.
What's the warrant? What's this?
Well, guess what, Nick? Guess what? They don't bring in an officer to testify in this case.
What?
There's no law enforcement.
No investigator. No investigator.
Oh.
On a criminal trial, there's no law enforcement.
The state did not bring in law enforcement because the man who was part of that got demoted for shoddy police work in a child abuse case.
Wow. And so that they keep it out by not calling him.
Wow. Yeah. That in itself should have brought forward a motion to dismiss.
Yeah, mistrial or dismiss. Just dismiss. Drop the charges.
Yeah, because if
a directed verdict.
Yeah, because if this is impeachable material that they can't impeach on because the law enforcement now, of course, the defense have the option.
Can the defense call? Could the defense call the investigator?
And I think Ryan and I talked about that. He would be the good one to ask why they chose not to. Because he, that's his background. But I mean, I guess in reality they could have, but I honestly don't think it was going to help.
No, maybe, as in the second Karen Reed trial, they never called Proctor because the ghost of Proctor was worse than having him on the stand. So it might be one of these.
Yes, absolutely. That's absolutely why they did that in the Karen Reed trial. There's Dr. Messner. There's our power bottom. Thank you, JKD, for finding that. We're going to see Dr. Messner at some point. So,
One of the most slappable faces in.
Oh,
okay,
for sure.
Don't do it, folks.
Remember
Don't
his
do it.
glasses, the glasses on and off with him? Wasn't he was like, with his glasses constantly.
but he had to blink a couple times. He was super flamboyant. Like Paul Lind was like, "Get back in the closet, sir." Liberace was like, "Tone it down."
I can't. Okay, and also, you may check off judge does something stupid, because the judge is now going to rule that she can't talk about the state's charging documents. So judge does something annoying. It can be checked off of the bingo
Usually it's the
card.
defense that never wants those in.
And
Because
yet,
because they are prejudicial and they file motions which will always be denied because it's part of the case.
Unfreaking believable. This is just unbelievable. I cannot stand it. I can't stand how these people behave. I can't stand how the state is so like they can't admit they made a mistake.
For a Brady motion. I mean, the fact that your lead investigator got demoted for shoddy work and you didn't share that, or that didn't come to light during the trial, that would be considered something that the defense needed to know. Were they not aware of that, or
we knew. We found out, but I think it was just because they like demoted that guy and he moved to another state. So that was one reason why the defense may not have wanted to call him in, is to pay his butt to get here and testify. Because he didn't have anything he didn't have anything to say. Like nothing was gonna, the defense felt so strong that there was no evidence.
And if the defense knew, then there's no Brady because there wasn't any hiding. But it does seem particularly scummy to continue to bring a case. Again, I think we can all agree that if there was any worry that this child was actually being hurt, then all of this we could kind of accept, because we don't want children hurt.
Of course not.
But we don't see the level of care taken. And it doesn't seem like the child's actually at the bottom of this, the big thing for Choa, because isn't Emma the little girl that they did so many x-rays to that it just hurt her? And
that's what we believe. I mean, it was they'll end up bringing that up. It's just an obscene amount of skeletal x-rays that were done. And that's when her vomiting of nonstop vomiting started.
Right, which looked a whole lot like radiation
that's a part of radiation. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I have dropped the link to the fundraiser in the chat, although for some reason, Jen, that link is not bringing me to, it's bringing me to like where I donated money, but it doesn't bring me to what we're doing, or like it's bringing me directly to my pay, like where I donated. I'm not sure why. I don't know.
No, I get.
Is it working for anybody else?
Yeah, it says you are the power, choose amount.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, but there was another page though where you could see how much has been raised, and that I'm not seeing.
Okay. I'll get Jonathan to. Oh, well, I see I see an amount like the 16.
Oh, you do? Okay, I don't, and it's probably a browser, a cookie thing. Like it's remembering I was here and I donated, and it's bringing me back to my donation page instead of theirs. Okay, as long as you guys can see it. Sticky says, chat says it's working for them.
Okay.
So good. Okay.
That would be a problem.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, the warrant that was taken out against my client is an improper subject to go into in front of this jury?
Yes, ma'am. It's not a police officer.
It's not the
Who made the arrest then? Like citizens on patrol?
That doesn't fucking matter who made the arrest if there is a warrant out. You have cop goes in front of a judge, I need a warrant. Okay, now that warrant is valid for any police officer to make the arrest. For fuck's sake.
I'm not intelligent.
I don't even know what to say.
I mean, this isn't even remotely what the law. I mean, I've covered a bunch of cases out of Georgia. This judge is wrong.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, just wrong. Like really wrong. Like this is, I've never heard of this.
Guys,
I
he's
want to
so
replace his
corrupt.
chair with like the crappiest folding chair ever. He doesn't deserve that nice chair.
I could probably get rid of it.
He needs one of these chairs, the stools with a big hole in the middle. So if you're old enough, you're scared your balls will get stuck.
Yes.
That one.
Just get rid of the chair. Let's just
You
more
do not
padded
deserve
chair.
the chair.
No more padded chair for you, sir. You must sit on a hard stool.
And he reminds us to do our cardio because he's doing a wall sit.
Right.
He's getting his squats in, Megan.
I think this is about the time he stops liking Catherine. Like, he didn't like her before, but she just presses him, and he doesn't like that.
Oh, God.
Your Honor, I must respectfully disagree with the court's ruling, and this is,
unforced error.
I don't wish to take up anything in the presence of the jury that would be improper, but the criminal charges made against my client are entirely relevant to the criminal charges against my client that this jury is considering.
I'm allowing you to go into what they were charging me.
What? But only in the indictment. What the
She just rolled her eyes at the jury. Oh, that is fabulous. Maybe he saw the eye roll and that's why he decided not to like her, because she cannot control her face right now. What is different about the charges in the indictment than the charging documents, Jennifer? Do we know?
I have no idea. Like, I don't remember there being a big difference or why the state would want it out. I can get my hands, like, I have it. I have the indictment.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, see if you can get me that. Send that to me, and maybe Ryan. Do you have the charging documents too?
I have no idea. I mean, we have You Are the Power has everything, so I will.
All right. Let's see if we can if we can find those charging documents. So maybe tomorrow we can look at the difference between the two and see what it is the state does not want them to see from the warrant, the charging documents versus the indictment. There must be some big difference.
Well, yeah, there must have had to downgrade the charges because they didn't have enough evidence. Because didn't it start as child cruelty and aggravated assault?
Possibly.
I
Yeah,
know
maybe
it was
that's
aggravated something.
This is very upsetting. I'm very upset. My meds are still working though, Chad.
You may proceed.
That smirk. Oh my God, her face.
Yeah, now she has to rethink her opening statements.
This is so unfair.
Yeah.
Tuckey Hernandez was charged with these crimes in June of 2023. My client was not indicted for these crimes until January of 2024. The warrant for Mr. Hernandez was only issued.
You can't even know when the warrant was issued? Are you?
Are we in Soviet Russia? I feel
can't
like
go
we're
look
in the
for it
wrong
right now 'cause
Georgia.
I don't want to miss Catherine's faces, so I
Yeah,
can't.
no, don't go look for it now. We'll deal with it tomorrow. But I just can't even believe this.
Are we in Stalin, Georgia? Because I think we mixed up. We're not in
Did we
southern
go through
Georgia.
a worm hill and we're behind the Iron Curtain? I don't know, but this is crazy.
Oh my God, the judge does kind of look like Gorbachev now that I think about it.
Wait. Now we need the pink scar. Where's the pink scar? How do I get the pink
my
scar?
Bob Ross, we figured it out.
All right, that's not pink enough. We need to go like a little bit darker, and then the line needs to be a little bit skinnier though, like the brush width. We got to go down so we can like.
I'm just saying what Megs is doing on screen right now is magic to me. I have no idea what's going on.
Wait, why can't I delete that? This is not working. Hold on. I can't change my brush width all of a sudden. Line, brush width, go way down, way down. Okay. Now, no, that's not. Oh, maybe it's stroke width. That's what she said. No, it's still too big. Oh my God.
That's what she said.
Stop it.
It was horrible.
It's horrible. Why can't we make no, I don't want to change the opacity. I want to fix the stroke. I'm going to have a stroke. Maybe my blood pressure meds aren't working. God dang it. I've taken it all the way down and it's still too big. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's why. Okay, I got it now. All right. Now we go.
We are talking about
back.
strokes and making things more purple, folks.
Yes. Okay, now we have to get the birthmark right. There we go. It was like an island on his head. There we go. Now we have Judge Gorgbie. Judge Gorgbie.
Judge Gorbachev, tear down that objection.
Yeah,
Tear down that objection. I think it's not as red as it should be. I think we need to make it redder. All right, I'm going to work on that as we play this.
Let's excuse the jury, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you go in your presence.
This is insanity.
It is insane. Oh, shoot. I got a bad view of him. There we go.
Your Honor, again, the defendants are charged with the charges that come on the indictment. It doesn't matter what the officers charge them with, at what point in time they took out warrants. What's before this jury is what's on the face of the indictment. I think the implication here is
must be the
because the
original
officers
indictment.
didn't take out a warrant against her client.
Wait, what did you say? I missed it.
But I mean, the basis for this trial, now it might have made changes up until trial, but you still need the original warrant.
Right.
You still need the original indictment. You still need the original probable cause. Because if that is removed, you don't have a trial.
They should never have had a trial in this case. Do you
No,
understand?
but-
They didn't
no,
bring
but-
charges against her for a year.
Yeah,
They
but-
arrested her, but didn't actually
judicially,
indict her for a year.
yeah, judicially, if they don't present the original probable cause, what led them, because everything, just as when you have this evidence tracing thingy between cops and things, you still need from point A.
Right. They never
to
had that
trial.
in this case, Nick. They never, and they should have had to drop it because of that, but they didn't. This is a completely illegal court proceeding. If you ask me, it is illegally being done. It is not legal. They do not have probable cause. They never had probable cause.
Yeah.
And because of that, it should never have gone this far.
Yeah, because if you all remember the Delphi trial, what is still now during the appeal is the validity of the search warrant and the affidavit to the search warrant and the probable cause for it. Because without that, you don't have a criminal trial. And if the state chooses, no, we don't want to bring it in, you don't have even the baseline of a criminal trial.
And
You
I
can't
don't
have
think-
a trial without it.
And I think it's fair for, again, the defense to be able to point out as a layperson that the state wasn't this worried about it, that they swore out a warrant or they charged her, but waited 2 years before they indicted her. So, as much as they're trying to point out that they are the protectors of the child, they drag their behinds. And I think it's
Well,
okay for the defense
for-
to be able to say that.
For the timeline, she got arrested in June and they both got indicted through a grand jury in December of 2023. We found that out while sitting in a bond hearing. We were in a bond hearing to try and find out, can Tuckey please move back home and see her children? And this woman, Caroline Yee, stood up and said, Your Honor, there's really no point because we're going to indict the father through a grand jury this week. So they indicted them both, and that's why Matt turned himself in instead of getting arrested. So the timeline, it took them forever for the trial, but they did indict them pretty quickly.
Okay, I was wondering. That makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, it was still stupid.
Still, though, why are they not allowed to talk about the probable cause, and what led to
the probable cause? Because then you will have something to impeach witnesses with. So it's impeachment material. The probable cause affidavit, the probable cause hearing, what witnesses said there, moving up towards trial. Because if there is discrepancies in the testimony and what's in the charging documents and what's in there now, that is impeachment material.
Well, also, Jennifer, it doesn't make sense to me how did they ever put charges on the sister and brother-in-law who are watching the baby? Because it doesn't make sense that they would go after the parents and then essentially,
No, they never, Gwinnett County never opened a case against them. Like, Tony would call to figure out what was going on because it was eluded by defects like, hey, we're going to go after you guys now. But no, nothing was ever opened against them.
It's absurd.
Megan, I
It's
just emailed
absolutely
you.
absurd.
I emailed you the indictment.
Okay.
And it was for both parents. The warrant is just for Tuckey. And
Just
I
for
emailed that to
Tuckey.
you as well because remember he wasn't arrested. He went through the grand jury. And maybe that's maybe that's what they're keeping out because Catherine is in the middle of pointing out how ludicrous it is that her client got arrested through an indictment 7 months later. And maybe that worries the state. Like, hey, don't talk about that because it's complete nonsense.
And I'll say as a juror, I'm paying attention to the fact that the state doesn't want the defense to talk. Yes, youngest, most feral co-host, I know I am not right now a juror. My neuropsych test came back fine, thanks.
Yeah, I agree. If I'm a juror, I'm paying attention to the fact that they're hiding something from me. I do not like it.
And that somehow there's, no evidence that the officers could find to charge, and therefore her client's not guilty. But that's not the standard. What we're going before the court, before the jurors, is what's on the face of the indictment. So they would ask that she be prohibited from going into that.
And, Your Honor, the warrant was the first stage of the charges against my client, and its timing was indeed particularly troubling, coming as it did immediately after my client made a public plea that the injustice that he and his wife had been subjected to was wrong. And again, this is a criminal investigation.
Wait. Is she, whose lawyer is she in this? Matt's or
Catherine?
Tuckey's?
Matt's.
She's Matt's. Okay, because in the other one, she was the wife's attorney, and the male attorney was the husband's attorney. So this whole time, I've been thinking that she's Tuckey's attorney, but she's not.
No.
She's
Oh,
not. She's
she's
Matt's.
Matt's.
Okay,
Jen,
that makes a difference. I
one
understand.
chisme thing. Now, I believe you said in the last trial that we were going to see the woman of Indian descent. She was a geneticist. You said that she spoke
she
a
was
lot
sweet.
more in this trial and that she'd kind of been cowed after this trial. So I'm really looking forward to her. Maybe you could tell she had been intimidated. So I'm kind of
Well, it
hoping.
gets really, really bad in this one. So don't look forward to it because she did a crap job. Now I wasn't
Am I
in there
going to have
because I
to
was
fill my big
sequestered.
old red breeder mobile and
I mean, my whole family
good
came
Lord.
out of the courtroom that day, and like all of the advocates and church people, like someone just died in the courtroom. It was so freaking depressing, and they're not allowed to talk to me as a witness, but it was pretty friggin' obvious, like it did not go good. So,
Oh no. And she was so sweet and so knowledgeable.
yeah, she's scared of Choa and the state.
Used an indictment against my client.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm struggling to understand what possible legal basis there would be for restricting discussion of the warrant taken out for his arrest in these criminal proceedings against him. that were initiated by that warrant.
Well, man, the reason for it is that we can go into whatever authority, and I'm just going off the top of my head, but
Obviously,
the problem is
I'm just going off the top of my head here. We could go into authority, but I'm just going. Why don't you go into the authority on it, sir?
That's kind of your only job, doof. Like,
What do you mean?
seriously, you are
Don't go off the
literally
top of your
there to
head.
know the authorities.
People's lives are at stake.
law enforcement officer make the decision as to what to charge. It's not what party you're indicted with. The district attorney makes that decision. And so
She wasn't
basically,
claiming an officer
this jury
charged her.
decides whether or not the state can prove the charges for which they've been indicted and not go into issues regarding warrants and when they were arrested and whether or not your client made a public statement, those types of things. That's not what he's on trial or she's on trial for. You know, if you have some authority, we'll take recess. I'll go look at this. But you have the opportunity also, and so will this Yee. But that is what we need to focus on, is the indictment. But I will take a few minutes off the bench and I'll hear from you guys.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let me, Ms. Bernard, let me address with you, since I don't know really what we're doing as far as what we're going into on the arrest warrant. I ask you exactly what you're trying to go into. Because I want to put it in perspective to know why we're mentioning it. Let's just say that first. Is it the contents or is it the fact that they were issued, or what is that? What is the purpose?
Well, I think all of the above are relevant, but the most specific purpose that we're dealing with here.
And we're an opening statement, by the way.
Of course.
So,
But I think the most relevant factor is the timing that Mrs. Hernandez was arrested in June of 2023. And I mean, frankly, they spent the next 6 months bullying Matt Hernandez and trying to get him to say, if you say your wife abused the children, then we'll let you have the children back.
Oh,
And he
holy
wouldn't do
fuck
that.
no.
And he continued to be frustrated and made a public plea on the news. I believe it was December 13th, and the warrant was issued later that night.
Yeah, and if you remember, that was right after he came on my show too. So the second he started speaking out against what this court was doing, they indicted him. And by the way, that has happened multiple times to families that I have dealt with in family court. The second which is one of the major reasons I do not report these cases anymore until they're over. Because if I start to report a case like this and try to bring public awareness to it while they're still in juvenile court, that judge will retaliate so hard. I've had judges put parents in prison. So this is par for the course. This is the playbook. This is what they do. What she is telling the judge right now, and he's not going to allow it because she's whistleblowing on the system.
Yeah.
If you tell them what's going on in family court, they put you in fucking jail.
That's right. But
You
how
can't
good
tell.
is it that Catherine got this out? Because, right, Jeb is recording, and this judge was different than Gordon County judge. Remember, Auntie Sue did not want things recorded when the jury wasn't around. She had the white noise. She didn't like that. This judge never even spoke to Jeb, never addressed him, never gave him any rules. So Jeb was just
we
there.
get to hear all of
We
it.
get to
Thank
hear it.
God, because I was really missing the
I know.
like motions in limine and all the stuff that was happening when the jury was out. Yeah.
Yes.
Then they were both indicted in January of 2024.
well, you're not going into the contents of the warrant.
No, Your Honor, not an opening.
Okay, that's where I thought we were going. That's why I was explaining to you. He's on trial for the
You
indictment.
thought she was going there?
Why does it matter? Why does it matter if she did decide to go into the contents of the warrant? Look, I've watched a million murder cases. I've watched a million criminal trials, and I've watched a million defense attorneys say on the warrant, did you find on the warrant when you did your search, did you find any DNA evidence for my client? And the officer has to say, no, we didn't. Well, did you find any hair fibers? No, we didn't. How is it a problem if she were to go into the contents of the warrant?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's allowing, he is supposed to be the goalie, and the jury has the right to be the finder of facts. The jury, she can put the facts out there. Now, the jury is allowed to, pick up any implications from that they want, because the state is probably going to come up at some point and say, "Nuh-uh, we totally did the warrant whenever there was evidence, not because he went to the media." But the jury is allowed to take both possibilities, weigh them, and give more weight to the one they believe.
Yeah, this is about the weight of the evidence, not the admissibility of the evidence. Because the warrant now the warrant in itself has to come in via somebody who testifies to it. But as of now, the defense might expect it to be entered by the state. So of course they can, because it's a part of the case.
This is maddening.
Certainly, Your Honor. And well, I do think that may be relevant in speaking to the officers on cross-examination. It was not my purpose.
But you're just referencing the time that he was arrested.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is your response?
Your Honor, because first of all, I don't know who she's referring to when she says they were bullying, because
I understand that.
it's been my case. I look at, I'm assuming she's talking about key facts and whatever happened in juvenile court, which they're completely different courtrooms. So I'm not sure how I'm supposed to, or how the evidence would even go up that the DA's office was being vindictive and charging.
Well, let me say this. I'll let you address the timeline, if you will. But if we're getting into issues of argument, okay, I don't think that's appropriate for open statement.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Because there's no evidence. So I would ask that we refrain from your statement that law enforcement was bullying him and things of that nature. I think you can go into when he was arrested.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
By no means are you allowed to mention that the law enforcement is bullying him into lying. By no means are you to say the state did anything wrong.
And it was defacts, not law enforcement. It was defacts in this case.
I don't really know where all this is headed now. Okay.
It's headed to total humiliation for the state, Your Honor. That's where it's
I'll
headed.
give you that leeway. The primary, again, going back to what reason I sustained the objection, so I thought you were going into the contents of the warrant.
So you sustained an objection to something she never said. You idiot.
Yep. And in fact, if you listen to her at first, when she first tried to explain it, she said, "I'm trying to get into the timeline." She never said she wanted to go into the contents of the warrant.
Yeah.
He wasn't listening. He is a stupid judge.
Jury back in, and then you can, I don't know if you want anything said, or counsel anything said to the jury, or.
This is a judge who is 20 years past the time he should have retired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's giving me Judge Judy vibes. How do I see the YouTubes again? Sorry. YouTube has timestamps?
He was arrested, and you say he was arrested on a warrant. I don't think that's a disputed issue, correct?
Time of arrest, no, Your Honor.
I think if we go into issues of argument, or if we go into the contents of the warrant, we need to just wait on that. For purposes of
All right. Well, at least he isn't saying no. He's saying no arguments, but timeline. If it's not a disputed fact, yeah, you can do it. Of course. She should not have been objecting to this. This woman is absolutely a bitch. I cannot take her. I cannot. Where's my button? I need my button. I have a button for this.
This is the prosecution just trying to cut the flow, because she's doing great at opening statements.
Yeah.
So they are making these shit objections up in the hope that the judge.
And he just sides with the state. You'll see it. Like
Every
he
time.
will just side
Yeah.
with the state. So that's why he sided with her. He didn't even understand the objection, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to give her what she wants."
I got to keep this button handy for this case. I can tell. Yeah, I'm going to need that more often, because that's how I feel.
Anything I need to tell the jury before you resume?
I don't believe so. If I can just continue on.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Let's bring our jury back in.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience with us. As I was saying,
So Mr. Hernandez was not arrested. My client was not arrested at the same time that his wife was. She was arrested in June of 2023. And you'll hear more about everything that happened with the family and the various state actors involved between June of 2023 and December of 2023. But what happened in December of 2023 was that Matt Hernandez, after having spent 6 months deprived of being able to contact his wife, being able to live with his daughters, made a public plea for justice in his case. He was arrested on a warrant only hours after making that public plea for justice in this case. Both of the Hernandezes were indicted in January of 2024, which is the criminal proceeding that has brought all of y'all here and what you will be deciding, whether or not they committed the acts that are alleged in the indictment. And so, of course, this isn't just the opening statement. I'm just here to give you our expectation of what we believe the evidence will show. But we believe the evidence will show that Emma Hernandez was medically fragile from the beginning, that her parents did everything right, that loving parents would do when trying to care for a child. If they notice an unusual mark, they take a picture of it. They show it to the child's doctor. They show it to the doctor at CHOA. So nothing, the evidence will show that there is nothing whatsoever that connects either Tuckey or Matt Hernandez to any abuse of their children or child, Emma Hernandez, other than the diagnosis of a child abuse pediatrician. And you, ladies and gentlemen, will be able to see that evidence for yourself and see these x-rays and hear from experts in the field of pediatric genetics about the meaning of these genetic variants and mutations and how they can affect connective tissue and bone health, bone growth and development. You'll also hear from a pediatric radiologist, someone who specializes in reading these scans of very young children, children who are too young to be able to move about on their own in many cases. And so you will hear from this radiologist about the likelihood of birth-related injury connected to these tiny little lesions on the ends of the left ribs. And you will hear from an orthopedic surgeon, an expert in bone metabolic disorders, about some of the conditions that could potentially cause these impacts for Emma Hernandez. You'll also hear from some of the individuals who have treated Emma Hernandez themselves, including dentists who observed the lack of mineralization in her teeth and other signifiers that unfortunately all was not well health-wise with Emma Hernandez. You will hear from foster parents, the series of foster parents who, even if they did not see evidence of these conditions during the short period of time that they had Emma Hernandez, they noted that Emma Hernandez and her sister Aria just wanted to get back to their parents. No one out of all of the many agents of the state who have been involved with the Hernandez family over the past 2 years, you will not hear from a single one of them any evidence that these people abused their children other than the diagnosis made at CHOA in June of 2023. You will only see from the state efforts to go back and strengthen that diagnosis when what they should have been doing, what they had the obligation to do while they had custody of Emma, was to care for her safety. You will hear further evidence about her continued medical problems while in the care of the state, then placing her on antibiotics for 75 days, of giving her repeated suppositories to deal with a constant constipation problem, because again, you will hear about how gut problems are often found in individuals with certain genetic mutations, and how you will hear more about this, but the issues with absorption of vitamins and minerals in the gut can then translate into deficiencies in
Yep.
the
I'm dealing with this with my own daughter. These weird genetic conditions, and even like when you have a hypermobility issue, connective tissue disorder, it affects every single other functioning part of your body, your GI tract. She has like a
Absolutely.
slow GI tract, right? And so it's stomach aches and all sorts of other things because of a collagen disorder. It's like it's almost impossible to believe, but everything is connected, everything. And thank God
Absolutely.
for the doctors that I
Yeah.
have, because
Seven-
I don't
yeah.
have anyone telling us that we don't know what we're talking about. I don't have anyone telling us that these things aren't connected. Every single one of our specialists is like, yep, classic, yep, classic, yep, classic. I don't know what I would do if I were a parent like this, facing this kind of thing and having specialists who don't listen to you or hear you or want to blame you for these issues. It's insane.
And
And
how many more indictments does the
75
state
days.
have lined up? I mean, how many more parents are there? Sorry. Nick.
Oh God, I know Jennifer probably has a list of them. There's a lot more a lot more happening. Why is the chat freaking out about 75 days? What happened in 75 days?
They had her on antibiotics for 75 days. They've effectively killed
God.
her gut biome.
My God.
Generations and generations. I mean, the fact she probably has no flora or fauna in her gut, meaning that she couldn't absorb anything. I mean,
Unbelievable.
again, you don't have to be, not to mention, let's think about the fact that we are getting super antibiotic resistant bugs, that we are constantly being told by doctors to not abuse antibiotics. And they had this little girl. What happens if she gets sick and they try to
Why
give her
did they have
antibiotics?
her? What was the reason for 75 days on antibiotics?
I don't know. I mean, she was sick. She was sick. I never gave her any antibiotics. She was here in August of 2023. So it would have been the next two foster parents.
Good Lord. I mean, this is it's unheard of, 75 days on antibiotics. This is medical negligence. This kid was tortured by the hospital. I'm going to try, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through. We'll get to the end of Catherine's opening statement, and I think we will save, what is his name? What is the other lawyer? Steve. We will save Steve's opening statement, I think, for tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, because I have earlier doctor's appointments again tomorrow. So
that works out perfect.
Perfect. So 2 p.m.
Covering Athena, but as soon as she is done, I'll be over here for some laughs.
Yeah, well, there will be plenty, I'm sure, as along with a lot of rage screaming.
bones and connective tissues. So that's why you often see this constellation of events surrounding children who are medically fragile, like Emma Hernandez. And so it's good when they have a clock right up here so that lawyers can see how long they've been talking. But this is the evidence that you will see. And I hope I've been able to give you a good preview of it, because y'all are the most important people in this room. You will see how we all stand up every time you enter and leave, because you are the ones who will ultimately make the decision on this evidence. And so we will bring before you, even though the defense has no burden to bring forward a single witness, it is the state's burden to prove each and every element of what they are accusing these people of. We will bring before you as much as we can of these past 2 years, in the hopes that you will be the ones who can end this nightmare for Emma Hernandez, for Aria Hernandez, and for their loving parents who want nothing more than to be back with their children, caring for them with the same love, care, and tenderness
argument
that has always characterized
Oh
you.
my
That's
God.
what we believe the evidence will show. Thank you, ladies.
For fuck's sake, you may check off for fuck's sake. She can't even let her say that they're loving and appropriate parents. Also check off loving and appropriate
parents.
And for fuck's sake, I still don't have a bingo.
Yes.
Dang it. Look how
I'm
close.
nowhere
I got
near
close,
bingo.
though. I got close. I needed lazy investigator. Oh, we did have pacing. I've just forgot to call it. I still need lazy investigator, though, or witch sighting. Oh, I could have called that.
I need the Spider-Man meme.
Okay, which
Despite,
side?
oh yeah, everybody else's fault but mine. That's going to come during testimony for sure. Wait, the DA is objecting. Why is she objecting? Because she's a bitch.
Okay,
And
but I
also
have
because
which
she
siding
doesn't.
for you, Megan. You can have it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the court reporter looks like Agra from A Dark Crystal, and her
Yes.
face is giving total Agra, like stupid, all stupid, stupid idiots. I am in this planet all by myself.
Perfect. I'll take it.
Mhm.
Although now we're
Yeah.
still missing river dancing. Dang it.
Damn. Okay.
No
well, I get it.
bingos.
Yeah, but I'm quite sure. I'm very happy they won this trial because what the judge rulings during this opening statements are unforced errors.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I would love to, because I know there's a project going on to check on judges' decisions in criminal aspects. Who are the judges who let all the criminals out?
Yeah.
I've asked them, can you check also when they get appealed
Mm.
on judges' mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Because both of those, I mean, first of all, you have so many cases now where criminals and mentally ill people are just let go.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it seems to
Nick.
be a pattern of certain judges to do it.
Yeah.
I want the addition of which judges. I mean, for instance, Judge Gull gets appealed successfully between 20 and 30% of the time, apparently, which is
Well,
insanely high.
I do know that, and Jeb wanted me to talk about this, which he also said he would love to come on your show, Megan, because he was in there, of course,
Anytime.
every day. He understands a lot. I missed, remember, after opening statements, I'm excused from this room, so I miss everything, and I've not gone and watched it, so it's all going to be brand new for me.
Send him the link and tell him he's welcome to join us anytime.
Okay, because he does have a lot of insight to what Nick was just saying, talking about this judge was worried about an appeal. That's Jeb's opinion, is he was worried about, making sure that they could not appeal on whatever decision was made. So I'll send him the
One of the yeah, I've seen a few of those.
because there is an appeal on this judge right now. This same judge, a father is sitting in prison in Georgia on an abuse case from, I think, maybe 8-9 years ago, and they are appealing that, and he's sitting in prison right now under this judge.
Well, that's not surprising. So, okay, well, we will be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. We will continue opening statements. We'll finish that, and we will move on to the first witness for sure. I'm going to try and keep these to like 2 hours, approximately 2 hours a day. And we will not be doing one on Friday. I have a minor medical procedure that I have to go get done on Friday. So I'm going to be off on Friday, but we'll do today, tomorrow, Thursday, and then we'll be back on Monday. And hopefully next week will be more, consistent. Because we just have had a crazy week this week with a bunch of medical stuff. So
your timing tomorrow and Friday works for me. I'll be back at another trial on Friday. Here in Georgia.
Wow.
So I might get to see Verena Brown again as the rebuttal witness.
Whose case is it?
They are not a You Are the Powers case. We were unable to support them because we did not have all medical records. Because CHOA denied the parents the medical records. But Jonathan and I support them. And Gretchen, like people still support them in our organization. So we're gonna be there. It's a TPR case though. They're trying to terminate their parental rights.
Oh God. Absolutely awful.
It is. It's non-stop. And I'm just so grateful to you, Megan. I know I say that a lot, but I really am. Thank you for airing this and letting me be part of it.
Oh gosh, I just love that you guys are doing what you're doing, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So you have nothing to thank me for. It's the easiest thing in the world to just talk about it. It's really hard to do what you've done, which is be in the trenches with these families, and we do appreciate that you did it. Kat, make sure that you visit youarethepower.net. I have put, for those of you on the replay, I have put the link in the description so you can go and visit them there, donate to the cause, help these families. They have a lot of legal bills, and we're going to be out of here until tomorrow. And I appreciate you guys for being here. Thanks to all my panelists. Please make sure you go and subscribe to Nick Starro and also Mo in the Deep End. They have great programming coming up and all the time. So make sure you do that. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to
we're trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.